Looks like we're making up for lost time. Need you to spell it out for me. Bossa Nova on all night. It's like a type of alchemy. Introduce me to your best friend. I can come and slide right in. A satellite ain't even that far. I kinda wonder where you are. Already know I can leave it alone. You're on my mind.
All right, that was, oh my goodness. I, I gotta say that's a 10 out of 10. That's a 10.
Really?
I mean, relative to what definitely much better than anyone um, that we've had. So, yeah,
Appreciate it.
that was
That's all the
really,
years of karaokeing when I was younger. My parents used to make me karaoke at all the family parties, so lots of
I,
practice.
Angela crushed it, actually. She did I remember now. She did the HOTTO. She did the whole like dance, and I was like, okay, that was fire. That was fire.
Oh,
So
she would. That song's awesome too.
she crushed that one. And he did the smooth rhythm. But that was good. You hit a little like a little falsetto action or something in there.
Thank you, thank you. I love Olivia Dean. You listen to her?
I got put on to her by a patient, I think, earlier this year, and I got a couple of her songs. That one is definitely in the top five, but there's like a few that dive. You know, Olivia Dean
Oh,
dive,
yep.
Hardest
That's one of
part.
my faves. Yep.
Oh, those two bangers.
Yes, yes. She's popping
My
off.
Yeah, I listen to like sad boy music, acoustic songs, like pop kind of girl songs, like Nipsey Hussle, like Tupac. Like, what's your music kind of choice?
I grew up listening to a lot of R&B. My mom used to like blast Usher in the song in the car and stuff like that. So,
What?
yeah, yeah. So I listened to a lot of R&B and hip hop.
Let's go. That's so cool that your parents actually listen to dope music. Because I was listening to old like Chinese folk music. That's all we had.
Hey, you gotta stay cultured.
What's your
But
ethnic background, if you don't mind?
I'm Filipino.
Oh, Filipinos crush that shit on karaoke. Like it's like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
man. So Nicole, thank you for coming on to the show. For many listeners that don't know who you might be, I know we already introduced you before as the Piff Mommy, but when Peter was like the Piff Mommy, I'm like, I don't know, is that cool? Is that our right term? We're gonna get canceled. Um, Nicole, give us a quick intro, a little bit about you, and then we kind of go from there.
Yeah, what's up, everyone? I'm Nicole Garlit. I'm from the Bay Area in California. Grew up in Milpitas. If anyone knows where Milpitas is, shout outs to
But
my
where's that at?
Milpitas.
Yeah.
Milpitas is in the South Bay. If you know where San Jose is, it's right next to San Jose. It's where all the cool people are from. But yeah, I own my own PT practice out in Oakland. I've had it for a couple years now, and I specialize in treating athletes and active people.
Let's go. And you've been in a bay your whole life, essentially.
Yeah,
And where's the practice at right now? Because I got in
it's
trouble when I was in San Francisco when we first met.
oh, why?
Well, first I said San Fran, and someone said like, please don't say San Fran. And then the other thing was like, oh yeah, I'm in San Francisco, and I was talking to a friend like, oh no, you're in Berkeley, and I'm like, isn't this all San Francisco?
No, nah. Once you pass the bridge, you're not in San Francisco anymore. But I'm in Oakland. So if you stayed in Berkeley, I was in the city kind of nearby you.
Yeah,
And in this wherever we did the seminar, that's
yeah.
Oakland.
How far are you from that area?
Like less than 5 minutes.
Oh wow,
Yeah, I'm super close.
Oakland has changed up quite a bit, right? I always
Yeah.
think about Marshawn Lynch, so it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, the area that I'm at is gone, like they built up a lot of like shops and restaurants. It's right next to Lake Merritt, so it's really beautiful. You got a lot of different kind of neighborhoods in Oakland. It's pretty eclectic in terms of like and for diversity, who you're going to meet, people from all different kinds of backgrounds. So Oakland's a pretty dope place.
Nice. I didn't know you had your practice for a couple of years already, though. When did
Yeah, so
when did you graduate?
I graduated in 2018. So I graduated 2018, did a residency, like an ortho residency, and then I was in a hospital-based outpatient setting for like 6 years.
Dang.
Um, yeah, and then I started my own practice in March 2024. So almost 2 years. Oh, sorry, 2020. Yeah, almost 2 years. Yeah, 2024.
And then you didn't go like right out the gates, right? Like, were you doing hospital outpatient and doing what you're doing kind of on the side?
Yeah, so my gig was pretty sweet. I had a per diem position in the hospital. So I was working like 20 to 24 hours a week, and then I was like slowly building up my practice on the side.
Oh, wow. That's
Hmm.
awesome. What made you want to get, entrepreneurship and take that? I feel like Asian people typically, it's, oh, you did it. You have a doctorate. Just play it safe. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm. Always wanted to own my own practice. I think from like a very young age, I knew that I wanted to do something that was like really meaningful for me and my family. And I was kind of like a leadership junkie back in high school. I was I was president of my class 4 years in a row. And I think that naturally just kind of like steered me towards the direction of like leadership and entrepreneurship. And it's funny, when I was actually choosing my major for undergrad, I was choosing between business and bio because I also want to be a doctor. I was like, I don't, business kind of bores me. Like the classes in business bored me. So I ended up choosing bio. And then it just so happened that I found out about physical therapy. And it's funny, like fast forward now, I'm actually still doing both, which is cool. Um, and I was also really inspired I was a PT aide at one of these like sports outpatient practices, and the owner was this like badass female. She like beat throat cancer. She would
what?
teach squats in stilettos. Like she actually treated Marshawn Lynch, funny enough.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so her name is Lisa Giannoni, but she owns Active Care PT out in San Francisco. But she's awesome. So she inspired me, and I was like, I want to be like that one day.
Yeah, all the females in a group just straight badasses. Like, jeez. Like, I love that kind of energy. Like, just seeing, like, wanting to inspire, wanting to, like, be in these kind of like leadership roles. And like, for people that haven't met Nicole, like, we met, I it's so funny because like, I know we were talking through DMs and stuff here and there, and I
Hmm.
was I was messing around with Manny the other day because I was like, "Yo, Manny, I remember your picture because you had this like sideways tilt and you like smiled at the camera, and that was like his IG profile, but you had like a direct headshot." And you just had like a big ass smile and almost like a tan shirt or something. I forget what it was, but I knew like when I met you in San Francisco for the Progressive Motion Talk, I already knew who you were because you had like a
Hmm.
strong profile, and we have talked. Like, I probably have like 100 something DM messages like back and forth every week. But I'm telling you, big ass smile. You could sense a fucking charisma through a screen. So all of those things, like, are you naturally like that? Like, is that just a Filipino vibes?
I think I got that from my mom. My mom is very charismatic, and yeah, she's just a very confident person. So I think I got that from my mom and kind of like emulated that as I grew older.
No, that's so awesome. What when you're 4 years in a row class president, like, were you just like, yeah, I love this, I'm about this, or what was that like?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. It was cool just putting on events for our class and like, I don't know, doing all the things to like help create a fun environment for everybody. Be able to like throw things like senior night or like help put on homecoming, things like that that are just like I like to be involved and I like to see everyone else having a good time. And yeah, I think it just brought me a lot of joy.
No, that's what's up. So what's entrepreneurship been like for you? I feel like this was going to be very interesting because I feel like generally, like, you're, from the short time that I've known you, like since like August, you're very like introspective. So like I
Hmm.
love that you think about it more than just like, oh, business and numbers and things like that. Like what's entrepreneurship been like for you? Like in the beginning, as you were getting going, and we can go from there.
Oh man, this is a loaded question, Andy. Entrepreneurship has been a wild ride for sure. I think there was a lot that I've experienced in the past almost 2 years that I wasn't expecting. Like I kind of knew going into it, it was going to be hard and there were going to be challenges, but it's nothing like actually going through the thing. Um, so for me, like the biggest thing that I've been learning about all of this is like how much growth that I'm making personally as well. So I think that's really cool. It's been cool to see how much growth I've been making personally because that also bleeds into, my relationships with my family and my kids and my husband. So entrepreneurship's been cool for that. And then, like, I think the other thing is knowing how much I'm growing through the process too, not just like becoming a better PT or becoming a better person, but also just learning different skills and realizing that I can learn things that I never knew I could learn before. Like, I'm so not a numbers person, and like the KPI dashboard thing that we have to fill out is like
Yeah, dashboard.
I'm like, oh, maybe I'm becoming a numbers person because then it's like I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm just learning all these different like new things about myself, which has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, when you start filling out dashboards, it goes from like, wow, like I can't do this, and like you don't even realize it, just like through showing up, you're just like, yeah, it's just part of the routine, the thing that you do.
Hmm.
Punch it in either daily for certain things, and punch it in at the end of the week for certain things. So it's a big step because I think most people that join the profession are artists by trade. They care about the art. They don't necessarily care about the business. And there's a great line where the businessman becomes successful in his career when he becomes an artist, and then the artist becomes
Mm.
successful in his career when the artist becomes a businessman. So kudos for making that jump. What was it like when you did jump? Like when you started the side hustle? Like was there a lot of like urgency? Like where was your head at?
Yeah, for me, it was pretty smooth, I'd say. Like, I was pretty ready to start my own thing. I actually had been wanting to start it for a really long time and just kept, making excuses. I was like, I had a mentor or a CI back in the day, and I was like, he was owned his own business too. And I said, how do you know when you're ready to start your own business? He's like, I think he gave me like this hard number of like 5 years. 5 years and be comfortable with anyone that walks through the door, and then that's when you know you're ready. You're ready. So that kind of sat in my head for a really long time. And I think that was not the reason, but I definitely think it contributed to me like kind of pushing it off for a long time because I'm like, oh yeah, I don't feel super confident with every single person that I'm seeing. So that kind of held me back a little bit. But yeah, I think like in the beginning, like when I first started, because it was like a half and half transition, like I was still kind of working and I was just doing this part time, it was pretty easy for me to just jump right in. I also just knew like if I didn't do it now, I would just keep pushing it off forever. So I was kind of at that point where like the urge was so strong within me that I was like, this, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it. Of course, there was like fear involved with that because it is scary putting yourself out there and, the fear of failure. But at the end of the day, like I know my work ethic and I know that I'm gonna, make something out of it, whether or not it is a success or not.
What's like pretty awesome about you? It's like you're a mom, you're a parent, right? Like how old were your kids, and like how old are your kids, and like how old were they when you kind of got going?
Yeah, so Caden is 5 and Bryson is 2. So when I first started going, Bryson was just kind of like a newborn.
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was like 6 months old or something like that, 6 to 9 months old.
So how do you navigate? Like you know, Peter, Christy, and I, like we don't have any experience. Like we've talked about that in the future, but I couldn't even imagine. Like how do you navigate something like that?
Yeah, I think honestly, having the kids actually pushed me to really do this thing because like at the end of the day, I knew that I wanted to do it, and now having my kids gave me more of an urgency because I was like, I want to do this for them too. And it just gave me more of a reason to build something because I want them to see like how awesome it is to build something that you're passionate about and that you can do it. And then also to see their mom do it. I think that's pretty important for them to see. So they actually were a big motivation for me to get this thing started, and they are continuing to be a big motivation for me to keep going.
That's awesome. Or I know that too. It's like it's kind of tough, but you said Caden, right? The older one.
Hmm.
He's got to like you can have full on conversations. I'm assuming with them, right? So you get to talk
Yeah.
about these things.
Yeah, I mean he knows like I'm a doctor and I help people, and I always talk to him about like, like I don't think he knows that I have my own business, but he kind of sees me behind the scenes. Like he'll see me, like be on my laptop and like, be working and things like that. And he'll be like asking me, "Mom, are you gonna go to work today?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta go help people." So yeah. I mean, when you
My
act
mom's a
now
superhero.
I mean, it is hard, like for sure. Like reflecting on this past 2 years, it has been a grind and it has been really hard. I think too, like with kids, a lot of people who don't have kids maybe not know this, but dude, kids get sick all the time. All the freaking time. Now Bryson's too. He's in preschool. And like I think I wrote in our Slack what November was the hardest month for us because Bryson got sick like 2 or 3 times. It was brutal. And when your kids are sick, you're not sleeping well. So it's
Oh,
like it was hard to function and stuff like and like that impacts your mood. But then November ended up being my biggest month. So I mean like there's something about going through hard situations and circumstances and like getting through it and knowing that you can still come out on top.
are you first generation?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he was a commentator. He used to always go on Joe Rogan podcast. Joey Diaz, he always like that's immigrant mentality, baby. Like you just wear that, like you just boots to the ground, head down, work. What was like the biggest like for you? Obviously, you don't like outwardly be like, yep, let's find coaching, right? Let's go look for some
Mhm.
help. Like, what were the biggest struggles that you had, I guess, when you first started going? Or like, what were you looking for? What do you feel like was missing?
I just really needed guidance. Like, I think when you're in PT school, you have guidance from your teachers. When you're doing your clinical rotations, you have guidance from your CIs. When you're in a setting where you have your other colleagues around you and you have a team, you can have guidance from your superiors, you have guidance from your other colleagues. But entrepreneurship's lonely as fuck. And I was like, all the best people in the world have coaches, all the most successful people from athletes to CEOs to, high level professionals, like they all have coaches. And I felt like if I wanted to really take this to where I wanted it to go, I needed coaches as well. So I knew from the beginning I was going to hire someone, but it was just a matter of when. And finally, when I reached out to Peter, it was during the time when my kids, both of them are finally going into school. So at that point, that was like August of this year. Before August, I was just kind of doing this as a side hustle. I was like, let me just see, like, I'll take on a couple patients. Let's just see if this thing's going to work. So I wasn't working that much, but once my kids started to go to school, I was like, all right, now I'm ready to scale. I really want to grow. And that's when I reached out to Peter.
It was so funny because like I think when we were in San Francisco, it was I don't think it was Progressive Motion. I think it was during the happy hour for Moment Foundations. You're like, yo, I'm fucking doing this shit. I'm gonna join Go Getters. And I'm like, that's what's up. And Angela, yeah, I just been talking to her for like the past like hour trying to convince her. Do you remember the convo with Angela? Or were you like, no, I'm already pretty sure.
No, I mean, it's so I'm a
Oh,
big
we had Dylan
believer.
there too. Dylan was also there.
Yeah, Dylan was there. I'm like I don't know about you, but I'm a big believer in like signs. Like uh,
Signs?
yeah, like signs.
Oh,
Like
you
when you
know,
get a sign, like it's
oh
like
yeah.
yeah. So when I first started my practice in March 2024, no wait, what did I say? 2020, yeah, 2024. Um, I actually had reached out to Angela, and I don't know if you know this, but her and I went to the same PT school.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. She was a year younger than me. So I didn't know her very much, but I knew of her. And when I first started my practice, I knew she was out in Oakland. And I reached out to her because I was like, yo, like, I'd love some advice. Like, if you're willing to like chat with me, like, that would be super dope. So we hopped on a call and she kind of gave me some advice and she was super helpful. So that was back in March 2024. Fast forward, this was like when I started listening to the Go Getters podcast. I think you had posted it on your maybe your Instagram or something. I was like, oh, dope, they have a podcast. Let me go listen. The first episode I opened up, it was probably the latest podcast. It was your conversation with Angela. I was like, yo,
Wow,
that's kind of, yeah.
that's
I was like,
crazy.
that's cool. So then I was like, all right. I took that kind of as a sign. So then I reached out to Angela as well and then asked her about Go Getters, and she had nothing but great things to say. So I was kind of sold.
Yeah, Angela's swaggy. Like she's got like I can't. It's like a silent like charisma. I can't explain it. Even when I remember just like watching her, the happy hour. I'm like, damn, she got good posture. Like she stands like very powerful. Like it's just kind of crazy. But that's all. Angela, I think originally joined because she was friends with. She went to played high school basketball with a friend of mine back in LA. So it's just crazy how like the web goes, like it all kind
hmm
of connects. And what was your conversation with Peter like?
I actually had two calls with Peter. My first call with Peter, I was just kind of trying to fill you guys out. Like, I was like, I see Andy online, and he seems like a dope guy. But I also like I base a lot of things off of vibes too. Not the only thing, but like I don't know.
You gotta
Like if
go.
I'm
You
gonna
gotta go off vibes.
yeah, yeah. And I actually want like booked that first call because I had a lot of questions. I wasn't really ready at that time. I think that was like it might have been like June or July. And I was like, yo, let me call you back in August when my kids are in school. Like I'll be ready to take action at that point. But the phone call was dope. Like Peter was able to answer and all of my questions and made it seem like really doable for me. So it was just a matter of like timing and making sure I had the time to commit.
Yeah, I say this all the time. Like Peter and I have been friends now since like 2017, and then we were in like mastermind groups together since like 2020 no, it's like 2021. We were just in mastermind groups, sometimes in the same group because we were in the same revenue. And Peter is like very he's a very straightforward guy, and he doesn't like sugarcoat much. Like he's very direct, and the amount of like accountability that he holds people to is very high level. But Peter, like, I, I I always say he's one of the best entrepreneurs I know. The dude lives at a very high level. Like when it comes to work, when it comes to living, like it's not like no stone is left unturned. Like the guy goes on dope adventures, races, pushing business. So it's like, and you want to talk to someone that's like extremely, extremely high level. I'm just grateful that I literally get to talk to the guy on a podcast every single week. So it's super
Oh.
awesome.
How did
Um,
you guys meet?
there was a group called Level Up Initiative. So we did that together like way, way back in the day. Peter and I think we were just like making content on Instagram and we were just like messaging each other. And, it's not that many like Asian brothers on Instagram creating physical therapy content back in the day. It's only like Mike from the Pre Guide. Shout out to Mike. You're definitely not listening to this, but if you are, shout out to you, Mike. But there wasn't that many like Asian dudes. So like we started chopping it up, and we were in like Atlanta together, but we didn't get a chance to meet. Chrissy and I had a rotation there. He was just finishing up a rotation, uh, but we didn't meet until like literally last year in person. It's just been
What?
it's just been internet friends. Like every when we both left the mastermind that we were originally a part of, we're like kind of stalling around the same like revenue marker, and we would just call each other like every other month and just chop it up and like see what's happening. What are you doing? What are you trying? You're part of this one. Oh, let me join that. And then we started dividing and conquering. Say, I'm joining this one. Oh yeah, don't worry, don't show. I'll teach you everything. You join that one. Like We just started essentially just a lot of it on business, and then probably like back then, like Facebook was more common. So we added each other on Facebook in like 2017, 2018. But it was every year at least we'd be like, yo, happy birthday, twin. Because we have the same
Oh,
exact birthday. So
that's
yeah,
right.
it's just been like boys and stuff ever since. But we've seen each other a lot more now, obviously. Went to his wedding, GGC Live. He's come visit New York multiple times. So it's definitely fun.
That's dope. That's cool that you guys are kind of like going through it together and learning a lot from each other too, and like sharing the information. That's a dope relationship.
Yo, we just like go talk about the shit sandwiches we're eating. Like, damn, bro, that should just fucking happen to you. Fuck, how you feel? It's like, yo, you need help with anything? I got you. So
Aw.
it's definitely fun. What was like your? Because you got to have some natural skepticism, right? Of like,
Mm.
like what we do is definitely an investment. It's expensive, so you probably were thinking like, is this shit really gonna work? Or were you like, yo, Angela got this, so I fucking believe in Angela.
Um, no, like I was pretty confident. Like I was looking at like oh, that's funny. Peter, I think it was like our first phone call. I think it was a Zoom or something like that. So he was able to like show me. He was like, "You want to see some wins?" I was like, "Sure." And he's like, he had this whole like presentation of like everybody's wins in the group, about like where people started and like kind of where people are now. And then I was like, damn, people are having a lot of success. Like, this is wild. And then, hearing Angela's story, I was like, yo, I'm sold. Like, people, like, I'll make my money back easily. So I
Yeah,
was pretty sold on it.
that's one of like the beautiful gifts about like investing in yourself. It's like once you make your money back, you kind of just become addicted because all of these skills, it's not like it's like, hey, Angela, I'm sorry, hey, Nicole, you're leaving. Like, sorry, we got to take your brain back, right? It's like, no, like this thing is stored forever. Like all the sales skills, objection stuff, marketing, communication, system stuff. It's like it's stored in your memory. And I think for me personally, it's like once I saw an ROI within an investment, I just kept investing. Like I just did not stop. I was talking to Manny. I think I've spent like Peter and I probably have spent each like over 400K on like mastermind groups, learning things, and it's paid itself off, and then some. And none of these things like leave with you. So, what has been your favorite like part of the experience? Like,
Favorite part of the experience, all of it. No, I'm just kidding. I'd say like the mindset stuff. For me, I really love like personal development. I feel like there's always room to grow. And I'm just like realizing how much I need to get over, in terms of like my limiting beliefs and my perspectives, and that were kind of like holding me back on what I was actually capable of doing. So the mindset stuff for me, like once I felt that shift, it started to become like entrepreneurship started to become more fun. Like,
oh,
yeah, because like I think maybe who could say this? Maybe Kobe, I don't know, but maybe like the reason why you're afraid a lot of the times is because like you're unprepared or you lack the confidence because you're not prepared. But the more that you prepare yourself and go through these things where you're learning about yourself and developing yourself, the more confidence you build, and then that's when things become more fun. So for me, that's been like the best part of this is the mindset shift for sure.
what was like a a moment like in maybe it could be a conversation in like a small group or like the weekly calls where you're like, oh shit, like that was like a massive unlock.
You did a call on a money mindset.
Money mindset.
And yeah, there was like a call that you did when we were talking about our money mindset and how a lot of us have limiting beliefs around money, and how that we can throw those and project those onto our patients and our clients. And for me, when I unlocked the fact that I did have a limiting belief around money, and I was actually projecting that on my patients, during the evaluations, and realizing that that led to me feeling, unconfident, or led to me not really recommending what I really thought just because I was insecure inside. Once I unlocked that, I was like going into those sessions with much more ease.
There's a couple of things, right? The first one, it's like if you look at the literature with like physical therapy, like a physical therapist's beliefs on like strength training and pain, they project that onto their patients. So it's the same thing with like other aspects, right? From a business perspective, if you have like very low self-worth, if you don't think that what you do is worth it or valuable, if you're like, oh, this is too expensive, your patients will feel that. But if you're excited about your product, if you're like, hey, I know what I do is extremely valuable, I hold myself to this kind of standard, you're going to bring a completely different energy to your interactions. And I think about like, I don't know what the cascade is, right? But in my head, it's like there's a story you tell yourself of who you are. And the story that you tell yourself creates these beliefs. Your beliefs create your thoughts create your actions, and your actions become your life. And it all starts with the fucking story that you tell yourself. And a lot of times it's not your story that you told yourself, it's all the stories that people have told you about you. So until you update that story, then you update your beliefs, and then your thoughts will change, and then your actions change. And all of a sudden you're like, holy fuck, how did this one simple thing about mindset like make me feel lighter? I love that. The money thing is huge. For me personally, like I have one thing that I'm overcoming right now is like I think that the more money I make, the more likely it is for me to be abandoned. And for you guys listening, you might be like, "Oh shit, like that's crazy," for you to believe that. But I think it's good to be vulnerable as a coach, so that people realize that like the person you're learning from is also human, right? Like Peter and I, Christy and I, like we're not like fucking indestructible human beings. Like, and I think when you're vulnerable and you can show that to other people, it just it creates some strengths, and it also like you get to accept something. Like if you don't accept something, you can't change it because you don't even think it exists. I'm claiming like, yes, I truly believe right now that if I were to make more money, I'm going to be abandoned by some other people in my life. And now it's up to me to fix that belief and become a person that is more worthy of accumulating wealth. And again, wealth is not the end game by any means, but it's a vehicle for us to make a bigger impact. And that impact can be within our family, our friends, our community. So I love that. What was your limiting mindset on money?
I grew up with like my parents holding on to money so tightly. So for me, I kind of projected that on other people. I was thinking, oh, other people must think that way too. Other people must think in scarcity. And so therefore, they wouldn't pay for my services because I'm not worthy of it, right? Or yeah, I guess I'm not worthy of it. And so there's like two things there. It's like that scarcity mindset that I grew up with, and also the feeling of like not feeling good enough, and whether or not someone's going to invest in me. So I'm still working through it. It's not something that's like perfect by all means, but once, like you said, you have the understanding, and you understand like this is a thing and you claim it, you can actually act on it. It gives you control over it, and it doesn't allow that thing to control you so much.
I'm so curious because you've obviously have kids that like you can talk to now and stuff like that. Like, do you find yourself actually, obviously, you're always thinking about something before you say anything to your kids, but with money and like mindset stuff, or you're like, okay, now that I know that like all this mindset stuff comes from my childhood, like how hyper conscious are you of like the words and vocabulary you use? Like, have you like even apologized to your kid? Like, oh my gosh, when I said this.
Yeah, it's like I will tell you that once you have kids, it's literally like holding a mirror up to yourself and realizing like, oh shit, like every single word, every single interaction, like all of these things matter. It is actually like the number one piece of advice I tell people that want to become parents is like they always ask, give me some advice. I'm like, you gotta like work on yourself. You gotta learn like what are your triggers? What are the things that kind of yeah, what kind of things like stimulate your nervous system? Because if you don't unlock that and if you don't discover better ways to cope with those things, you're gonna project those things onto your children. And it's the same thing like when you think about how you were raised as a kid and you think about, oh, I would never do that to my kids. Like, I don't want to do, I don't want to have these same habits that my parents had, right? Not to bash on our parents, but there are certainly things that we can improve upon, right? They were kind of doing the best that they could with what they had at that time. But now I think it's like our responsibility to unlearn some of those things because then if you don't, you accidentally do the same things to your kids. And I saw myself do that like early on and I hated it. So I've made a very conscious effort about like listening to parent podcasts, watching, reading parenting books and like learning better ways to communicate to my kids and also understand like developmentally where they're at and not have these like crazy expectations on them because I think that's where the disconnect comes from when I expect something out of this like 2-year-old. I'm like expecting them to be this like obedient thing. I'm like, no, dude, he's 2 years old. Why am I being so hard on him? He's just being a kid. So there's a lot that I've learned through parenting, man, and it's just been like, yeah, like going through parenthood has really made me a better person because I realize like I want a better life for them.
Yeah, that shit gets me fucking emotional, and like it's just like, yeah, I mean, you don't got to hear it from someone guy on your screen, but I'm just like super proud of you because I feel like you're the amount of like maturity and like the amount that you're able to like keep shit together. Like you said, November, one of the hardest months, kids were sick, and like you still pulled it together, pushed through, had a PR month. Like there are sometimes like Christy and I will, we hang out with friends. It's a late night. We wake up and I'm like, can you imagine having kids right now? Like someone is screaming in the background and think about that constantly. So like shout outs to freaking parents. Like, wow.
For real, honestly, like shout out to all the parents in our group. I know there's like a couple, like at least a handful maybe of parents in our group.
No, we
I
got
don't
a hand.
know, right? Yeah. And like Muhib has twins, like dog. I don't know how he's doing. That's hard. And I think like
Mohib, we
being
got Blake, Erica, and Joe. Do we have a kiddo? Man, we have a decent amount of parents. So that's crazy.
yeah, I will give my husband a shout out though. Like I've definitely had to lean on him a lot through this journey. And it's like you have to have like a good partner and a good teammate to be able to, balance things out. Because I feel like it'd be so hard to do this on my own as a parent. So for those out there who are doing this, like as a single parent, shout outs to you because it's definitely not easy.
With like being like a parent, like you obviously have to make decisions a lot, like as a group, right? So like when you're navigating stuff with like your husband, like how does that look? Because your schedule is obviously busy, your business is growing, like there's a lot of like back and forth with like probably responsibilities, and it's not always 50-50. It's like fucking 90-10, 80-20, 70-30. So like how do you
Yeah,
navigate that with your husband, and like what's that relationship like with blending entrepreneurship, showing up in all these different roles in your life?
it's messy. I'm gonna be straight up. It's pretty messy. And I think I've had to let go of the idea that it has to be perfect and it has to be good all the time. I've learned to accept the messiness and the chaos of all of it. I think my husband's fully supportive of the business. He tries to help out as much as he can, but he's also still working. He's full time. He's still
What do
doing
you
his
do for
thing.
work?
He's a nurse.
Dope. Oh, that's
Yeah.
the best. A healthcare couple is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and yeah, so we've worked out a schedule where, someone's always available for pickup or drop off or school and like activities and this and that. We've just tried to communicate as much as possible, like exactly what we need. I mean, it's obviously something that we're always working on because some weeks are going to be tougher than others, but we try to, we've started doing like a weekly check-in where we'll like sit down and we'll talk about like, okay, what does this week look like? Um, do we need to make any changes in our schedule?
You
Like
got a
who needs to be
KPI
home here?
dashboard over this
Exactly.
relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've definitely had to do it because we've had weeks where we'd like so one of us would fumble and one of us would be like, "Oh, dude, like you were supposed to be off. I have patients scheduled. Now I have to go and reschedule patients because I messed up. I got the calendar wrong." So, I mean, there's definitely that. So that's definitely learning lesson. We've had to be more like, um, I get we had to be more on top of our schedules when it comes to that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just remember when we were teaching in San Francisco, or sorry, in Oakland. I was Jeff's like, "Oh, bro, I'm chilling this week because my wife's got the kids," and he goes, "But next week she's got to get a weekend off and stuff." And I'm like, "That is so crazy to like just even try to conceptualize and think about those things." So you said that you're like big on like signs and like things happening. Like, has there been stuff recently, like in the past couple of months where you're like, "Damn, that's another sign," or like, "I can feel it. Like that wasn't just a coincidence," kind of thing.
Ooh, that's a good question. I've had a lot of like deja vu moments.
Hmm.
Like I actually had like a deja vu moment of me being on a podcast, believe it or not. So, yeah, that was definitely something that happened in the last couple months. But in terms of like signs, I have to come back to you on that one because I don't think there's been anything like super outstanding. I think the big thing that I've realized in the past few months though is like you talked earlier about like how do you talk to yourself? And this is not really answering your question, but it's kind of bringing me to this thought of like I've definitely been better at talking to myself in a more positive way and having a good mantra to start my day, or like if I'm gonna go into a situation where I'm nervous as fuck and I'm like, oh, like I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm like saying my mantras beforehand. And I will say like when you manifest that good energy, like good shit happens as a result of it. And even if like to someone else it's like, ah, that wasn't so good, like, why are you celebrating that? In your head, you're like, oh, that's a big win. Like internally, you just kind of see things a lot differently when you talk to yourself better. So yeah, it totally doesn't answer your question, but that's the kind
I
of big
mean,
thing that I've been noticing.
yeah, all of these, like, I'm a huge on signs and stuff as well. Like, being on San Francisco, getting to meet Joey and Josh in person, having that talk, getting to meet Young. And I guess we could say it now. Young will be speaking at the next GGC Live. So it's just like all of these
Ooh,
things, just like these like full like circle like moments, right? And you had mentioned like, oh, mindset's the thing. I literally, when we did the talk, it was all on mindset. So it's
yeah.
just like, I truly believe like the one thing that I did in 2025 that completely changed my life. I started at the tail end of 2024 was mantras. I've updated them like every couple of months whenever I felt like I needed something. And what I'm starting essentially in probably this weekend is I'm writing down like a personal manifesto of like the person that I want to be. So it'd be like, and it's just a bunch of statements of like, I am. And the mantra I could remember. I say it every morning, but the personal manifesto is just like literally a one-page sheet of everything that you want to accomplish in life. So like it'll be things that aren't even present right now, right? It's like I am a good father. I am this, I am that, I am that, I am that, I am that. And you just keep saying I am.
Mm,
I am extremely patient. I am blah 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 with my wife. I am blah 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 to the people that I coach. I am a leader for blah blah blah. And the goal is like every single morning that you read this, you immediately start to change your identity. And when you change your identity, you change your actions. So every single morning I say, I am a patient, kind, loving husband. In the moment where I feel like I'm about to just react, I will remember at some point that I said that this morning. And I'll say, I won't react because I'm a patient, kind, loving husband. So most of like these things, it's just you're trying to stack the cards in your favor a little bit, right? Like if you are so negative towards yourself, you have terrible if we talk about all the things that we say about ourselves and we say it out loud, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like verbal abuse. That's exactly what it is, right? Like negative self-talk is like verbal abuse. You would never talk to your significant other, your kids, your friends like that. But we have that self-talk with ourselves and we expect ourselves to thrive. I always think back to there's this really great study of kids in school. So if let's say I'm a third grade teacher, right, and Nicole is joining my class, and Nicole was in the second grade class with one of my colleagues. The colleague comes up to me and says, "Hey, you really gotta watch out for this girl, Nicole. She's amazing. Like she's got so much potential. She's so hardworking, so smart, so charismatic, yada yada yada." As a third grade teacher, I will expect more of you. I will dedicate more time to you. And all of a sudden, those things will manifest. You become smarter.
Mm.
You are more capable. And I think that happens all the time in life. Like, from a parenting perspective, like I can't wait to bring up my kids. I can't wait to be like, you're awesome. You're a rock star just the way you are, right? Like, just saying these things to them and bringing them up, like, oh, you're meant for greatness. You blah blah blah. Like literally some of the best players in the world, they're like, yeah, my parents told me, oh man, you're the best player ever. At some point I'm going to be watching you from the stands. At some point you're going to be performing in front of millions. And I'm just like, that is so unbelievable.
Dude, you want to know one level up from that?
Let's hear it.
You when I don't you plan on having kids, I guess, just based off of what you just said.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and anyone else listening, do this too if you have kids. When you want to say something positive about your kid, yes, say it to them, but also say it to your partner or say it to somebody else around them, like while they're still in your presence. So, like for me and my husband, for example, if my kid does something awesome that we want to reinforce, I go to my husband, I'm like, dude, did you see Caden? He picked up his toys. He put it away without me asking. Isn't that great? And then my husband would go, oh my God, yeah, that's so cool. Tell him that he did a good job. And my kid will be like literally a foot away from us, watching us talk and be so excited about him. And I'll look from the corner of my eye and he's just like smirking. He's just feeling really good about his parents talking about him. So that also boosts his confidence and makes him like reinforce the behavior. So that's something too. Like, yeah, talk to them and like say it to them directly, but also talk about them with other people too around them.
Yeah, when you how do you feel when you first started doing it? Because that's the most fun part, right? Because you're like, all right,
Hmm.
I'm gonna say these mantras. Even when the experiment with your kid, like, how do you feel when you start doing something like that?
I'm a little woo, so I'm like I'm all for it. I'm like low key woo woo. So like for me, like the mantra stuff was cool. I forget whose podcast this was on. I think it was like Jay Shetty's podcast.
Kristen
Um,
loves Jay Shetty podcasts.
Dude, he is like the main reason why I like was like, fuck it, I'm starting my business because I kept listening to his podcast on my commute to work and he had just some like amazing guests. This was like back in the day, but he had someone on. I want to say, was it like was it like Russ, the rapper Russ, or maybe was it like Post Malone? I can't remember. But they were like, I would be so delusional in my thoughts that I would actually have these thoughts before they were even big, that they were on stage accepting like a Grammy. You know what I mean? And like when I listened to that, I was like, oh dude, I'm gonna start doing that. So I would like manifest things, like manifest starting my business. I would like think about like what it would look like driving to my business and like walking through the door and like start greeting my patients and my clients and start working on them one on one. Like I would visualize this. And that like catapulted me into starting my own thing. So I forgot what your question was, but I hope that answered it.
No, we were just talking about. I was talking about how it felt for you to like start some of these mantras and like change
Oh
up
yeah.
your talk. But
Yeah.
Russ has a song called Manifest, and I used to listen to the song all the time. And the beginning of the song says, listening to my old songs back when I would talk about things that hadn't happened yet, but now I get to talk about. Like
Yes.
he's got, oh man, I used to listen to that song in PT school and I just had goosebumps because like I was listening to the song, same thing as you. Like Russ just like manifests. and it's crazy. Like all, the high performance stuff is super fun. Like when people actually start to take themselves seriously, and it's not like you're, and this really resonates for people that were in athletics or something before. It's like entrepreneurship is harder than professional sports, without a doubt, because you're not just competing with the other team, you're competing with fucking everybody. But then at the end of the day, what you realize is that you're really just competing with yourself. Um, but here's the thing: it's like with sports, it's like you have like an intense bout of exercise or movement or sport, and then you have to recover. Most entrepreneurs just keep fucking working, 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 and they don't know how to fucking recover. They don't develop any attributes. They don't, they do a layup with their right hand. They never keep practicing with their left hand and get the left hand layup better. And the minute you flip the switch and you consider entrepreneurship athletics is the minute that you can really start to fucking thrive. And all the things that you're talking about is literally what athletes do. Visualization exercises, right? It's like they play basketball, they go through practice, they're recovering, sauna, copeland, whatever they do, they meditate, sit and visualize. And everyone wants to talk about like Mamba mentality and working themselves in the ground. Like, yeah, Kobe was working, but it wasn't always physical, right? He did so much visualization, so much meditation. He did mantras, all that stuff.
Yep. Yep. Shout out to Kobe. Kobe is like one of my favorite players of all time. I like live by his mama mentality. There's a good podcast on Jay's podcast of him talking to Kobe, and I learned a lot from that.
I gotta listen to that
You
after.
gotta listen to that. Yeah, it's dope.
'Cause I think I listened to Kobe when he was on Luis House, and read the Mamba Mentality book, great book. He had a nice snippet in there where he was talking about how he knew he was going to make it in the league because he got into the NBA league and realized how little people were practicing. And he's like, people could not practice as much as me, work as much as me, and I knew that I was going to be successful. And I think about that all the time. It's like, I know that like your work ethic, the people in our group, it's just like it's the reason why we call it like go getters. It's like you've got the work ethic. You just literally got to figure out what the work you need to do is to bring it to the next level. Because a lot of people I think fail because they work so hard at the wrong thing or they work so hard at the same things and they're not like changing. Um, when you started, where were you at revenue wise?
When I started in August, I was at 6.5K.
And then November capped off November with 21.8. What was the biggest game changer? I know we had mentioned the mindset stuff, but what are some things where you're like, damn, there's no way I could have done that without learning some of these skills and collecting these badges?
I think the biggest thing was I wasn't getting enough leads. I just wasn't. I think in August, I got like 6 leads. I think in October, I got like 8 leads. And then in November, I got 78 leads. It was because I actually, did events and I was actually putting myself out there more. I think at the beginning, I was just getting all like word of mouth referrals. And that's why I had like a ceiling with that because I can only network with one to one with people so much. I mean, that's something I do love to do. Don't get me wrong. I love getting to know people on a personal level and like really building that relationship. But you can't like, it's all a numbers game. Like you can't get that many leads if you're just talking to one person at a time. So doing events was a big thing for me in November. I think I went from doing 0 events to like 3 events in November. And that really led to me just being able to see more, speak to more people, book more discovery calls, book more evals, and then convert those evals onto plan of care.
Yeah, the thing that it's like everyone, and I love that you mentioned mindset earlier because like everyone has a general idea of like what they need to do. They just have a hard fucking time doing it, and it usually leads to some sort of mindset thing. So instead of like really, really just it works sometimes, right? Just more effort, pushing yourself through resistance, and then there's like, okay, let's reduce resistance. Let's figure out like why is it so hard for me to do certain things like network and put yourself out there. Did you have that? Like, were you like nervous about putting yourself out there?
Oh, for sure. I think this is where like the balance between you and Peter is so cool and so awesome. Like I have you who's like talking about the mindset and like getting over like really understanding why am I so resistant towards putting on a workshop? Oh, it's because like learning like it was because I was worried about rejection. I didn't want to like go out there and like talk to a bunch of people and get rejected. I was worried about that. So after learning that and like uncovering it and working through it, I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. And then there's also Peter who's like just straight up like, yo, look at how many leads you're getting. You need more leads. Like looking at our numbers and he's like, go put on events. I was like, all right, for sure. So like I have Peter telling me to put on events. I have you helping me with the mindset, and then that two married together was just like the perfect recipe for me to like go out there and like be confident and just know like rejection is okay.
The quicker you get rejected, I'm granted it all fucking hurts. It doesn't ever like stop stinging to a degree. It's just as you start to raise your standard and keep pushing, the things that hurt from a rejection perspective are some of those bigger things. Like right now, I can go to a coffee shop and be like, "Can I get a discount?" And I won't feel nervous about being rejected. But the first time I ever, ran an experiment where I just asked a discount for the sake of asking for a discount, yeah, I was fucking sweating. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to say no to me. And all of these things stem from like childhood, right? So unpacking like, oh, the feeling of rejection. Well, how does it make you feel? Like if you put yourself out there, and this is just a coaching point for if you're listening. This is some of the work I've done with like Art of Accomplishment and Joe Hudson. And one of this is called the golden algorithm. And the golden algorithm is very simple. If Nicole's afraid or like has a lot of resistance to putting on a workshop or an event, perfect. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Well, the worst thing that happens, like, no one shows up, and it was a total waste of time. Perfect. How does that make you feel? If be like rejection feels like I'm not good enough, not worthy enough. Like, perfect. Think about that feeling, and not think about it from your head, right? Like, literally, you could put your finger to your head, then you could put it to your heart, and then you put it to your belly, your stomach, and really internalize what that feels like viscerally. And then ask yourself, when's the first time you felt something like that? And you're going to trace it back, or what's the earliest recollection of something like that? And you'll trace it back to something like elementary school, or like when you're like 5 years old and you remember like, you're showing off something that you're so proud of. And maybe all the adults around the table, like look there like, haha, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, go over there now. And then everyone turned back to the table and they just like went back to what they were saying. And it was like that one thing that you were working so hard on and you took so much pride in. And then all that taught you was don't take so much pride in what you do, because if you do and you try to show it to people, it's going to hurt you. Something as simple as that will continue to dictate your life until you realize that was the actual occurrence. And then when you actually feel that, when you can pinpoint where it was, allow yourself to process it. Don't tell yourself that you're wrong, and don't logically think, oh, that's so ridiculous. Like, of course, adults are busy. It's like, no, like, how did that little kid feel? And what people would typically have is like this visceral response. They'll actually like tear up, cry, and you want to mourn that event, and then you can move on. And it's not just you. Like, there's so many people in the group where we've had that experience. We talk through things and someone goes, oh shit, and then immediately the next day everything's good. The resistance is so much lower, and that is like one of like the biggest like breakthroughs that you can give yourself. So kudos to you for being vulnerable and like doing the work.
Dang. All of you out there just got some free coaching right there. That was fire. I got goosebumps. That was dope. Yeah, and that's just like a snippet of what you like preach all the time in our calls. So that's pretty cool.
I that it's so like you had mentioned like before, like expectations, right? Like we put so much expectations on our kids and ourselves, and like all of that is just like a projection, because like at some point we were taught like until you do XYZ then you're worthy, or you can be loved. And it's like, man, what a difficult like way to live, or a hard way to live. And when you mention like, oh man, entrepreneurship is fun, I'm like, let's go, because that's what it should be. Like if this is a sport, and you were thinking, I have to be perfect. What was your favorite sport growing up?
Basketball.
It's like if you're like playing basketball, like I have to be perfect at basketball. I can't make mistakes. You would probably quit so early, right? But when we think about kids, it's like early athletic development. Let them play as many sports as possible. Don't even worry about keeping score. Enjoy. Start to learn how to enjoy the process. And all right, now let's do some specific drills. Now let's start to work on some stuff. Or like, hey, I realize I really like playing a sport. Mom, can you help me like work on my left hand layup? Can you help me work on this like one step fadeaway shot or something? Like that's the beautiful part of it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Where are you at now? Like what is like your big audacious 2026 goal? Because you hit the original goal that you came in just a couple of months. So what's the
Hmm.
next big goal? What's the thing that's kind of scary for you?
The next number that scares the crap out of me is gonna be 50K.
What is your celebration going to be for that?
If I hit 50, oh man, I
Oh, you
wanna.
said
I've oh
wait. You said if when you hit 50.
Ooh, all right. See, there you go. When I hit 50, I've always wanted to treat my family out to a vacation. So I want to I'm talking like my mom, my stepdad, my dad, my stepmom, my brothers, their kids. Like, I don't know. It might have to be like somewhere close. Like we can't go to like Hawaii. That's gonna be way too expensive. But like, I want to like treat them out to something cool. That would be like a nice celebration for me.
No, that's what's up. Honestly, the little things like that. I still remember like you're just taught like first paycheck, you got to treat your family out to like dinner and stuff like that. So that was such a immigrant ass response. Like, what is like? Give me like for you. Give me something a little selfish. Gosh,
All right.
your parent, your amazing mom, amazing partner, amazing daughter. That first thing you thought about was like, let me. What's something you're like? You know what? That'd be dope.
I'm probably gonna buy myself a nice bag.
Let's go. What kind of bag?
I've been wanting this Chanel 19 for a really long time, so I'm looking. I've been looking at that. I've been eyeing that.
Chanel 19. Nice. I don't get it with bags, but I'm excited for you. Chanel's
Bro,
one of the
it's like getting a watch.
Chanel 19. Chanel's like they hold value, right? Like that's like actually like one of the best brands or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, I got to give you a funny story for we were at graduation. My brother's graduation. My dad had gotten my mom a Chanel bag like close to when he was about to retire. And my mom used to carry around a Chinese newspaper because whenever she had to put the bag down, she would unfold the Chinese newspaper, put it on the ground, and set the bag on top of it. And I was just thinking, I'm like, oh my goodness, you're not doing this right now because this looks so ridiculous. Like parents
Dude,
looking
I'm
up.
gonna have to steal that.
Yeah. Please use like the Wall Street Journal or something like the New York Times.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Nicole, any last let's any like if someone is like on the fence and thinking about going to go getters, any words of advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, what else do you need? Like, go listen to the other podcasts, go read the newsletters that Andy puts out. Like, there's so much value that you guys give out constantly. And I think that's one of the big reasons why I knew this was the right fit too, is because you guys are always giving out free resources and free advice. So go look at all of those, listen to all the podcasts, see how much success people are getting from this coaching. And if it's like a schedule or a time issue, dude, it's easy. Like everything you can rewatch on your own time. It's a no-brainer. If it's a budget issue, you're gonna make your money back easily. If it's a value issue, then go somewhere else because because this is where it's at.
Man, I one appreciate that. And if it's a time issue and you're not a parent, there's no, you got all the time in the world. And any words of inspiration, I feel like it's so unique to always have like someone that's a parent on. So like any words of inspiration for parents. I know we got like Aaron's got a kid, Blake's people got kids. The people that aren't in the group, any words of, inspiration or things that you would want to say to like a parent or even maybe your younger self?
I think if you're a parent and you're on the fence or you're thinking about investing into something, I think it's worth investing into yourself because it's not only going to benefit you, it's going to benefit your kids. And while things are really challenging, trying to balance all the things in life with parenting and entrepreneurship and doing a coaching group like this, at the end of the day, like you'll figure it out. Like you'll find a way to make it all work. It's just a matter of believing in yourself and like leaning into the resistance that you're feeling now, knowing that not everything's going to be perfect and things are going to work out in the end.
Nicole, appreciate you. Um, Guys, this is the Piff Mommy. Do you like the nickname? What's can we make that better, or we're gonna roll with
No,
that right now?
let's roll with it.
Let's
It
roll.
is what it is. It is what it is. Unless someone wants to take that throne, I'm gonna keep it.
The Piff Mommy is so funny because it's so like early 2000s R&B vibes kind of name. Like,
Yeah, but Peter spells it Mommy. Like that's so proper. I think it's got to be like
M-O
MAM. Yeah, he's like
M-A-M-I.
Momm. Yeah, mommy.
I know because he go the Piff Zaddy Zaddy, so the Piff Mommy should be Mami. So we'll make that announcement
Exactly.
and make it more formal. Piff Mommy. Oh man, Nicole, appreciate you for coming on the chat. And honestly, just like it's a treat for us, like I know you guys are people always say like, oh, we're so grateful for you guys, but Peter, Christy, and I talk about it all the time. Like it's so freaking fun to see you guys win and start to build a life that you want and just it's weird. We don't have kids, but it's kind of like you guys are like our kids to some degree. Like, like we just want to freaking see y'all win so bad. So love to see the progress that you're making, not only in like entrepreneurship and in business, but like letting it bleed into every single aspect of your life.
Yeah. No, I'm so thankful that I joined this group and I appreciate you, Peter and Christy, for all the support. I can't wait to see what more growth we can make in 2026. Let's go.
Let's get it, baby. Chanel 19. You already know the vibes coming in. It's squad.
Peace.